Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, coffee moaners. If you're listening, welcome. If you're watching, apologies. Good morning. Good morning. How are we all? How are we all? It's Friday morning, and it's the end of what's been an incredibly challenging week in many regards. How are we all? I hope you're well. I hope you're looking forward to the weekend, relishing the weekend. We've got a live Curly Cooks coming tomorrow. Absolutely. Morning, Faith Goodman. Morning, Claire LC. For those of you listening who don't know, we are saying hello to all of the lovely subscribers and followers and family guests who are popping up in the comment side panel of our YouTube live. Morning, Teresa Saunders. What a glorious, beautiful day. Fantastic. Margaret O'Brien. It sounds like a silver round thing in the sky high up there going around and around very fast for about a minute, and then it went... Sorry, I've crashed in on mid-conversation. I hope you're all right, though. But it sounds almost like sort of like the birds that go around Tom and Jerry's head when they've been hit by something. Haven't had much sleep this week, which is why I've got eye bags hitting the floor. How are we all? How is everyone? It's been some good news, as in good news within a terrible story, which is obviously the news that Sara, Sharif's father, stepmother, and uncle have been charged with her murder. It was hardly surprising. I mean, I'd be curious to know what finally literally nudged them onto the flight, as many were saying, of their own free will. How much free will was there? Lots of people commenting on... I saw a comment, very odd, it was kind of flew through and then it disappeared. I think maybe one of our what they called, arbitrators, invigilators, whatever, must have taken it down. Someone said something about what a sick country this is because of the photograph of Sara Sharif with makeup on. More often than not, the photographs that are available or that are used are the only ones that are kind of either available or made available. And of course, there was also the possibility, because I think there was the fear or worry that perhaps she was being made to look older. And I think also there is possibly some aspect to that where culturally, perhaps, for whatever reasons, she's got makeup on. I don't know. There could be some other potential reason. But I think it was an odd sort of suggestion that we're a sick country. I mean, I'm not a nationalistic individual, but I couldn't really understand where that kind of fury came from. It's just a tragic story, regardless. And she could have been at a party, she could have been anything like that. I mean, some talk is about the idea that it could have been vigilantes in Pakistan. I think they were really tightening the net over there. And so consequently, they had little choice. They were arrested on Wednesday evening as they got off the flight at Gatwick Airport. The police say that Sara's mother has been informed of the development and she was being supported by specialist officers. Yes, an incorrect comment to Edward Bevington, absolutely. Just odd, isn't it? It's odd, some of the stuff that people... Sometimes, just on the sidebar, just quite a funny note here. Hi, Marie McLeod. Lovely to be here live. I love these. Live in Spain, so it keeps me up to date with what's happening. Same time, you both make me laugh. Oh, that's nice. Watch tomorrow, the Curly Cooks at 10 o'clock after our Coffee Moaning Saturday papers. One of the things that really makes me laugh is when people sort of say, I don't know, something like, why are you on here? Why do you do this? And it's like, well, why are you... Okay, there's why are you on here? Okay, fine. Why are you on here only commenting on people who are on here? It's like, for God's sake, do you know what I mean? Shannon Pillsworth, hi Mark, I'm seeing Loose live tomorrow in Ipswich. Shane won't see Nads, but I'll enjoy it. You'll have a laugh. They're all absolute lunatics. I think they should call it Lunatic Women Live. I posted, there was a brilliant, God, what's his name? Oh my God, Javier Bardem asked a question by someone. There's a meme going around saying, what's it like being the only man who enjoys working with his wife? And he says, that's such an inappropriate question. So cool. Javier Bardem tells you it's an inappropriate question. You need to run, because that granite-like exterior face could come after you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, if you're watching it, your mum, my dad, is it? We did a live last night. It really is a really enjoyable and refreshingly different dating show for oldies. like us. But do check out our live chats. There's a lot to chew. My mum, your dad. Thank you very much. I never get it right. I'll be there. Thank you. Big fan, Marie McLeod. Good. Enjoy. What are we doing tomorrow? Oh, I think Curly Cooks are doing student food. Lots of kids going back to university. Student packages, survival packages. I used to get, my ex's father used to deliver to our student digs his version of a survival box. And his version of survival box was curious. It was a keg of beer. Well, the kegs have got different names, haven't they? Is it a firkin? Might have been a firkin of beer. Oh, Chi having bad dreams. It was a firkin and about 10 bottles of wine. And I should have known that I was an alcoholic because, or we were all kind of struggling with drink because we drank it all within a day. But we were students. So, Chi, it's all right, darling. It's all right. Hey. Hey. Oh, she's having a bad dream. She's like, she's either having a bad dream or she's chasing a great big Mexican alien. What was I saying? Yes, survival boxes. So I think the girls are going to be trotting out some potential recipes that are good for being students that you can, you know, when I was in the first halls of residence that I was in, we were in a corridor with just, I think, an electric hob. No one cooked anything. What did we eat? Well, there was a kind of canteen, but what did we, I mean, the most I ever saw anyone make was beans on toast. So maybe a really souped up beans on toast. Maybe you've got a request. I know what we could do. Why don't you make a request for a student dish? Because I think I can see there the list of dishes that they're doing. And why don't you challenge me to make a student dish? I'll put it up on the community tab. And I'll put it, should we put it up on the community tab? Yeah, because you're not all on Instagram, are you? I'll put it on the community tab here. And you can decide what student dish I can make for them. Good for our purse strings too, exactly, Joni, absolutely. Not just students, no, it's apt and appropriate right now. And on that point, we're going to be talking about some fucking expensive strawberries later. Anyway, I better crack on because I've got to be done by 9:40. I want to pay reference to the Libyan tragedy. Someone absolutely correctly pulled us up on the fact that we hadn't mentioned this yet. And that was through no fault of, no other reason other than just the fog and hullabaloo of lots and lots of news stories. But this is just tragic. And this is, you know, since Sunday, you know, catastrophic flooding, the bursting of 2 dams, the decimation of a city, you know, city of Derna, more than 10,000 people missing. There's also been damage and issues also in Morocco too, obviously. I don't know if it's after the earthquake, but as a consequence. Death toll looking to reach about 20,000. And I think, unfortunately, perhaps, one of the aspects around this is Libya has become one of those strange countries that almost feels like, I don't know, since the whole kind of Gaddafi thing, and it's fallen into lawlessness, and it's fallen into, there's all sorts of kind of, you know, competing tribal factions and what have you. Doesn't mean that when something like this happens, it shouldn't be given the attention it deserves. And so consequently, absolutely, you know, so everyone's hopes that, I mean, but again, the authorities in Libya aren't doing themselves any favors. They're sort of saying they will only accept the help that they deem needed. And lots of people on the ground are saying, we need it. And they're not saying they need it, they're getting it fast enough. So, but the images coming out of Libya are absolutely horrific. Worse than death itself, it says one survivor of the Derna floods. It's just tragic. It's just absolutely tragic. Another reminder of, well, I mean, this has come from a Storm Daniel. Miriam W., I'm half Libyan, and the country is absolutely beautiful. The people are kind of lovely. Seeing what's happening is absolutely devastating, and it breaks my heart. Of course it does, Miriam. It's like all these countries that we, in the West, just hear the name and don't think about in great detail. I mean, we feel that as a family because, of course, you know, we have Jordanian, you know, Middle Eastern roots to one half of the family. And, you know, whilst Jordan itself is an ignored country, there are many people in the extended family who are Palestinian and from various parts of the Middle East, Syria and Lebanon, who feel likewise that, you know, the West just kind of ignores and glosses over these countries. So so that is just an acknowledgement, really, not more to say other than, you know, world efforts are still continuing in Libya, but I think the numbers coming out there are going to be much higher than 20,000, tragically. The other story that's also come up is, has anyone seen this story about the Spanish man or the man in Spain who appears to assault a female broadcast journalist while she was in the middle of a live report? Did she tap her on the bum? Did he tap her on the bum or pinch her or slap her or something? I mean, I'm not suggesting in any of those terms a diminishing of what he did. Did anyone see it? Spain keeps coming up with a lot, it keeps popping up quite a bit at the moment, doesn't it? Around sort of misogynistic, if you think of the football thing. You know, the kiss, the infamous kiss. Miriam W. once again on Libya. It gets a bad rap in the media, but if you don't know what it's like, people jump to conclusions. Absolutely right. This is the story in Spain. A man has sparked national condemnation in Spain after appearing to assault a female broadcast journalist while she was in the middle of a live TV report. I mean, what an absolute twat. Spanish police have since arrested him. He touched the bottom of reporter Isa Balado. He was arrested on suspicion of sexual assault. He's been released pending further investigation. Presumably you've got it on tape. Is there much more? I mean, sometimes you wonder when you need proof and an investigation, how much more do you need than it happening on live TV in an irrefutable fashion? The presenter herself described the incident as very unpleasant, while her colleagues have criticised the decision by the police to release the subject. The female presenter says in the clip, "Do you really need to touch my bum? I'd like you to let me work," she said. The man continued to talk to her before reaching his hand out to rub her head and then walked away. Machismo, man. Who thinks machismo's getting worse? I think obviously, it's like I was talking to one of the girls the other day. They were talking about movements, weird tandem, but like, you know, in the history of art, there's like the Cubist movement. You've got to talk about a movement. And I was trying to explain that movements some are, but not most movements culturally don't happen with some guy sitting down with a kind of pen and paper going, right, let's start a movement, all right? Let's do it. This is Cubism. They don't write letters and it just happens, it emerges, and then you look back and you go, oh, there was a movement. I'm not suggesting there's a movement of men going, oh, that's really kind of, though with Potato Head, you could argue there is. But it does feel like there's a sort of sense amongst men of a certain disposition that they're going to get away, that they could get away with almost encroaching more and more upon female rights and their body. And like, if recently I talked about me having to shout down a van outside just up the road. It's almost like there's an awareness that everything is so stretched to breaking point that who's going to be able to attend to all of this stuff? You know, if we can't introduce a dog license scheme because of the admin, how the hell are we going to be able to implement a wolf whistling scheme where you essentially do someone for wolf whistling? Hi, Jill, quiet sub. Oh, is it quiet sub? Where are you, Jill? Saying hello. Coffee number 1, down the hatch. Coffee number 2, entering the chamber. Okay, yeah, outrage in Spain. That's been in the news. Okay, now look, I was going to go StreamYard on you, but then I didn't have the choice of going 4G, and we're having issues with our tech, as you know, gremlins and all that kind of stuff. So I was going to show you, obviously, a photo of, but you may have seen, if you're on a device or if you've got another device near you, just pump in Mexican alien corpse. I mean, you know, it's just your everyday Google search. And you'll get an image of these alien bodies that have been... What's weird about this is Mexican aliens which were found in Peru. Now, when you look at these... Okay, so who believes that these are aliens, or who thinks this is a ludicrous stunt? It's 2 humanoid bodies that one has to say look incredibly like something out of a movie. You know, there's the inference of skeleton, there's hip bones, There's the suggestion that one of them has eggs in them. Their arms are thigh bones, apparently. What? Real human thigh bones? Please tell me more. Is that true? Is that true? Hi, Hasbana Habida. Lots of love from Pakistan. Sending love to you. And I'm not too sure if the Sara Sharif story was picked up in your press there. So this is the claim that two tiny bodies, which were kind of unearthed in Peru, have been shown to the Mexican Congress. Well, lots of people are saying it's a load of old nonsense. No, they look too much. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. So you're going to say this is a stunt. If you're going to do this, surely you're going to make them not look like a sort of an amalgamation of every conceivable alien you've ever seen in every movie you've ever come across. I'm going to have to show you just a quick image in case you haven't seen. Let me just show you. Look. Come on, guys. Come on. Next Members Live will be this weekend. We're going to do one with Nanny Di. Absolutement. Nanny Di, you're going to get an update from Nanny Di this weekend. Yeah, next. When was the last Members Live we did? I think was it on the way back from Reading? Yeah, you would make sure that it was a 100% pottery class. What was that A-level art project? It's come on, guys. You can do better than that. It's like Brian Cox said, and I have to say, I like Brian Cox, the scientist or the presenter. He's a bit of a killjoy, though. When he did that show about alien life, and really in his first piece to camera, he said, of course there isn't. I was like, well, I'm turning off then. Come on. Joni, Professor Brian Cox does it. I like Brian Cox, though sometimes in some of his pieces to camera, I do sometimes wonder whether he's perhaps been possessed. Maybe he's an alien. Maybe he's the alien that's been sent here to throw us off the scent. Joni trusts him. Oh, yeah, I like him. I liked his music. Didn't he used to be in? It was M People, a former pop star. Signed. I love it. I love his arc. I love his narrative arc. Yeah, as he said, just send the bodies down to what was it? Ancestry. Get your DNA tested. Just get the DNA tested properly. All this sort of smoke and mirrors and all this nonsense. Anyway, I mean, I think the vast majority of people don't think they're real. I want to, but for God's sake, guys, come up with something more original than something that, I mean, even Mars attacks, you know, how to put a bottle around their head, anything. Okay, okay, I'm going to ask you, if you could choose the age that you could live till, what age would you live till? If you could choose, in an ideal world, if you could just say, right, I want to get to that, and boom, I'll be happy if that's when I go. What age would it be? Come on, chuck them down now. I want to know your age. And if you want to live forever, just say, I want to live forever. Laura Lou, you want to get to 100. You see, I think for our kids' generation, I don't know how old you are, Linda, but I think you might get, 100, a lot more people are going to hit 100. Karen Taylor, 90. Good Ship Lollipop, 101. Edward Bevington, 300. There's lots to read, isn't there, Edward? I feel like I need more years. I just want to read a lot. I'd like to be able to say, right, at the age of 90, I'm going to spend those 10 years reading. But of course, I probably won't be able to see. I certainly might be able to hold up a book. It's frustrating, isn't it? At the point in your life where you've got the time, the space, the freedom in your head to think and do stuff, you can't. You're dribbling in a corner. Let's have a look. Health dependent Margaret O'Brien, 106. That's very specific, Margaret. But I like it. I asked for specificities and you gave me them. But serious NASA committees discussing UAPs. Marie Lynch, look, the aliens is just madness, but the UFOs, they're out there. They do, Joni. They look like they've been covered, those going back to the aliens, they look like they've been covered in talcum powder. 75, Leah, as I couldn't cope with the health issues. DF Brown, if I have my health and no pains, 100. Okay, here's another question. What for you do you think is the secret to a long life? Constant sex, packets of Walker's cheese and onion crisps, tins of sardines, don't eat any. Someone somewhere in the world, I've read somewhere today, is the poisonous sardines killed someone somewhere. I'm not making light of it. It's just awful. What do you think it is? A nip of, a dram of whiskey every day? Is it praying? Is it, I don't know, skipping? Wine and sex, Sadie C. Oh my God, you've just described two things that at one point in my life are probably my favourite things. Now it's just wine. I don't know. Genetics, Steph Schultz. Genetics, nice, straight and simple. Not talking to people, Ty. Other people. It's like when people say what stresses you out the most, I say other people. There's nothing more stressful than other people's stress. And I mean myself in that too. So for other people, I'm the most stressful thing to happen to them and vice versa. Lee Durrant. Now, I'm not even going to read that. That's outrageous. Thank God you dropped the T on the right. Contentment and fresh air and good food, Kim Blanton. My nan lived to 93 and she had a secret diet. Well, it wasn't that secret because I used to go into the drawer and nick them. Of minstrels. Oh, I still can't get enough of them. Don't tell anyone, but when I go there sooner I get a bag of minstrels. Minstrels, and she used to... Turkish Delight, was it? Is there something else that she used to eat a lot of? Yeah. Oh, I'm getting a bit depressed because my coffee's going down. I'm only with you for another 20 minutes. Okay, well why am I asking all this? The world's oldest woman died at the age of 129. But guess what? She says she didn't enjoy a single day of her life. So there's the secret to a long life. Koku Istanbulova was born when Queen Victoria was still on the throne in Britain, but had suffered immense tragedy in her long life. She's believed to be the oldest woman in the world. Ratified pension records in Russia put her at 129, though she claims she might be a bit older. She could be 130. Apparently, she was joking. She was talking. I mean, just this sentence for me, at 129, a relative, her grandson, said she was joking. She was talking. She was juggling and lighting a huge reefer. No, I'm joking, that last bit. She was joking, she was talking. Then she suddenly felt unwell. She complained, I'm not surprised, she complained of a chest pain. We called a doctor and we were told that her blood pressure had dropped because her blood pressure was like, how the fuck have we stayed here for 129 years? And they didn't manage to save her and she passed away. But tragically, she says she didn't have a single happy day in her life. And that is an interesting story. Because does that mean her life has been essentially torturous? Did my head in a bit, that one. I was thinking, God, I mean, it's like, I'm on big kind of weird analogies today. Oh, Mary McLeod. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Mary McLeod, maybe? Mary McLeod? You don't have minstrels where you are. That means you probably haven't got counters. Counters are minstrels without skin. Good Jesus Christ almighty. Sorry to anyone who's religious. What was I just saying? I've completely forgotten. Analogy. Living long. Oh, mate, I've lost my analogy's gone out the window. My analogy's gone and flown off. Oh, no. Yes. It's come back. It's like I said to Nads, when she ran the marathon and she did it in, I don't know, 6.5 hours or whatever, and I did it in whatever, and she was like, oh, well, you did it really fast. I said, yeah, but you've done something more difficult. You ran a marathon for longer than me. Think about it. It was tougher for her because she did it for longer. My heart broke for this woman when I saw that, 129, and she didn't enjoy a single day. I'm sure she must have maybe had a moment of joy somewhere in there. I don't know. Other stories of the week. Protein shakes should have a warning, as a coroner says after the death of a teenager. Protein shakes should carry health warnings. After a 16-year-old boy died 3 days after having one. He deteriorated rapidly and died from undiagnosed ornithine transcarbamylase deficiency, a rare disorder that causes ammonia to build up in the blood. Wow. Senior coroner for Milton Keynes said to NHS England that the Food Standards Agency should make protein shakes have prominent warnings on them. I think this is highly unusual. But apparently in younger people, it can cause an issue. But that made me go, bloody hell, protein shakes. Has anyone heard of the Ig Nobel Awards? The Ig Nobel, the Nobel Prizes for kind of breakthroughs in science. Well, the Ig Nobel is the kind of reverse of that. Well, anyway, this is like where they award prizes. We wanted to do a documentary with these guys, but they're quite cagey about their world. Didn't we, Miranda? We tried to get them, and we met them, and they didn't. They just kind of smoke and mirrors. Anyway, the Ig Nobel is it's a kind of jokey scientific award for weird, real scientific kind of experiments or breakthroughs or things that have happened. Anyway, some scientists have won the top award for proving this, and I love the fact that they've proved this. Let me just hang on. Oh, I've just been logged out of my Telegraph. Just bear with me 1 second whilst I do this. Close your ears. And your mouths too, because yeah. Oh god, this is annoying. Sorry. This is, well, basically they've won an award for proving that when you look at a word for too long, it becomes incomprehensible. They've scientifically proved this. How do you do that? It's kind of weird, isn't it? Scientists have proved the phenomenon in which familiar words suddenly look peculiar. They've dubbed it jamais vu. The team from the University of St Andrews have showed that in a repetitive writing test, words generally started to appear odd after scribbling them around 30 times or after 1 minute. The phenomenon dubbed jamais vu, meaning never seen, is quite common, according to researchers, and is experienced by around 2/3 of people. Jamais vu is the strange feeling of finding something unfamiliar or peculiar when we know it should be familiar. And so they did 2 experiments where people kept writing out the same word. And so they managed to publish and prove that this is a thing. So what word for you, if you repeat the word? I mean, go onto the channel and you'll see that there's a compilation of Nadia going, Mark, 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 Mark. It becomes bizarre. Bizarre. The word Mark becomes kind of like some weird sort of strange, decrepit voice. It's just weird. Do you have a word? I mean, I suppose all words do, don't they? Okay, moving on, because I've just looked at the time. We need to do the quiz. So, yeah, top award, spoon, Sadie C, spoon. Everything's ridiculous. Spoon. It's no longer a spoon, is it? It's just a weird spoon. I've got a big face looking at spoonhead. Okay. But there was just briefly, there's a story about a stall in Borough Market getting annoyed that Borough Market said that them selling strawberries weren't fruit, they shouldn't sell them. Okay, let's have the dispute. Fine. The thing that I think is fucking outrageous is they're charging £7.50 for a pot of what they call chocolate strawberries. Strawberries that you dip in chocolate. Ridiculous. Okay, so quiz of the week. Let's do it. Quick. Come on, guys. Let's trot through this like nutters. We're going to go fast. So, quiz of the week. Have you got your pens and paper ready? Pens and paper? Pencils and paper? Have you got your automated typer thingy all ready to go? Okay, question 1. Let's hope there's no sports questions. Russ Ouch, it's ridiculous for a strawberry. Okay. Oh, look. YouTube's already answered them all. Yeah, predictively, I'd do some predictive answering. Question 1. North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, travelled to Russia to meet Putin to talk about increased cooperation between the two countries. Which of these dishes was not on the menu when they met at the summit? So which of these did they not eat together? Was it A, crab dumplings, B, pickled carp, or C, sturgeon with mushrooms? What of those didn't they eat? I think on the menu was Mexican alien corpse as well. Did they not eat A, crab dumplings, B, pickled carp, or C, sturgeon with mushrooms? Faith Goodman is saying pickled carp. Carp stays sharp to the bottom of the glass. It's B, pickled carp. So they did have, I've now got an image of them both chewing away on crab dumplings and sturgeon with mushrooms. Nicholas Sturgeon on a dish with mushrooms. Not pleasant. Oh, let me just do this. I'm just going to budge around, Coot, so you're not... You're all right? Okay. Teenager Coco Gauff secured her first Grand Slam tennis title with a fight-back win over Belarus's Arina Sabalenka. We're fucked, guys. It's a tennis question. Who was the last American woman to win the tournament before Gauff? Was it A, Sophia Kenin, B, Sloane Stephens, or C, Serena Williams? Oh, guys. You're still toying with the image of Nicholas Sturgeon with mushrooms, aren't you? I've never, ever, ever had that dish, and I'm not going to. You're saying C, Serena Williams. It's Sloane Stephens, guys. Question 3. Music lovers celebrated the first full scale last night at the prom since 2019, as well as the traditional pomp and cheer and jingoistic flag waving. I added that bit. The concert saw the world premiere of the theme for which forthcoming film? Beetlejuice 2. A. Napoleon. B. Or The Marvels. C. Oh my lord. Really? What theme from which film, the theme tune from which film was premiered at the proms? A. Beetlejuice 2. B. Napoleon. Or C. The Marvels? I'll tell you what I went for. I went for Napoleon, and I was wrong. It was The Marvels. Question 4. World leaders met at the G20 summit in Delhi, hosted by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to discuss issues including the Ukraine war, climate change, and the debt burden of developing countries. Who was invited to become a new permanent member of the group? Was it A, Argentina, B, Saudi Arabia, or C, the African Union? At this point, the quiz question creator had a sense of humour bypass and thought, I'm going to ask the most boring question in the world, which is exactly what this is. So world leaders met at the G20 in Delhi. Who was invited to become a new permanent member? Argentina, Saudi Arabia, or the African Union? Before they all then went and dined on sturgeon with mushroom. Mushroom sturgeon. Oh, hang on. It was the... I've gone and... Oh, what have I done? I've gone and closed the bloody thingy. Let's just get back there. Hold on. I think it was the African Union. I went for Argentina, but I think it was the African Union. Let's have a look. It was the African Union. C. Elaine Denning. Are you not doing well? Question 5. A climber miraculously survived a 600-metre fall with only minor injuries after falling down the side of a mountain in New Zealand. Bloody hell. Which famous building is the equivalent of the height he fell? A. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai. B. Makkah Clock Royal Tower in Mecca. Or C. The Shard. Oh my God, imagine that. He must have bounced along. He must have bounced down. He can't have just fallen. He'd be dead. Anyway, so what's the equivalent of the 600-metre fall? Burj Khalifa in Dubai, Makkah Clock Royal Tower in Mecca, or the Shard in London? C. Lots of you saying the Shard. No, it's the Makkah Clock Tower, you dunces. Go to the back of the class. Question 6. A Turkish cryptocurrency boss and his 2 siblings were jailed for 11,196 years for fraud. What prison term had prosecutors been seeking for him? Was it 2,027 years, A, 8,658 years, B, or 40,562 years, C? Oh, come on. This is ridiculous. Even the 129-year-old woman saying, even I'm not going to get there. 2,000 odd, 8,000 odd, or 40,000 odd years. What were they seeking? What was the point? Totally unrealistic. It's like just writing it. Yeah, let's get 40,000. It's 40,000 years. C. Final question, and then we're off. Final question. Who's got 6? Anyone else got 6? Anyone here got 6? Anyone doing well? Anyone feeling vaguely? You'd be amazed. I'd be amazed if you got 3. Never have me on your pub quiz team. Guys, these questions are diabolical. Okay. NASA's James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST, if you, local parlance, if you're having a pint and a natter, may have discovered tentative evidence of a sign of life on a faraway planet. There's lots of little men there sitting there, it's like the ones in Mexico going, they think that's an alien. Wait until they see what we really look like. Yeah. But by what name is this planet known? This is ludicrous. So, which of these is the name of this new planet on which there might be life? Is it A, K2-18b? Is it B, LV426? Or is it C, SN1987A? I guessed, and I guessed right. Zog. B, says Faith Goodman. It's Rio Chap. It's A. It's K2-18b. And on that notey-wotey, canoti-flanoti, I'm going to send you a great big sloppy kiss and say, see you tomorrow for Coffee Moaning. A vlog is landing tonight, and there'll be Coffee Moaning papers tomorrow, and there'll be the Curly Cooks too. Bye!